Greetings, land of the brave and beyond, and a very warm welcome to today's information sharing session under the flagship of OMAS, which means offices, ministries, and agencies. And as always, we are coming to you live and direct from the Government Information Center studio here in the heart of the nation's capital, Windhoek. For this morning's episode, I will be your host. My name is Hileni Philippus Hamunyela. Now, alongside my studio guests, we will be keeping you company for the next 40 minutes or so. And on the menu this morning, we are talking the public consultations on the nuclear bill. And I am joined in the studio by a team of well-versed representatives, or experts rather, from the Ministry of Health as well as the Office of the Attorney General, and they are here to help us unpack this very important topic of discussion. But as is the norm, before I can formally welcome them to the platform, I'd like to pause here and extend a warm invitation to you, Namibia, to be part of this discussion by following this conversation on our social media platforms where we are currently streaming this show live. Now on Facebook, we are at the Government Information Center, Namibia, and that too is the same handle for our YouTube channel. Be part of this discussion. Now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please help me welcome my studio guest for this morning. On my immediate left, I am joined by Mr. Joseph Amon. He's the Deputy Director in the Directorate of National Radiation Protection Authority within the Ministry of Health and Social Services. Mr. Amon, good morning and welcome to the Government Information Center.
Good morning, Helene. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
All right. And last but not least, I am joined by Ms. Hilma Naimbale. She is a senior legal officer at the Office of the Attorney General. Ms. Naimbale, good morning and welcome to the Government Information Center.
Good morning, Helene, and thank you very much for the welcome.
Right. I'm happy to have you both this morning. Right. Now, to create context for our viewers and listeners, Mr. Amon, I'd like to start with you. Please, if you can, and in the most layman's term, just introduce to us the topic by defining what radiation is as well as what nuclear is.
Okay, thank you, Eleni. Yeah, layman is a challenge because, you know, you go
right.
to school,
Technical.
It's very technical. It goes to school and you study for a long time, but what I've learned over the years is that a good example to use is like fire,
right.
a fire.
Mm-hmm.
So radiation is energy. Mm-hmm. So energy as wherever the source of energy is and where the radiation source is, mm-hmm. there is the energy, or like in the case of the fire, the heat that travels from that right. energy source. So as the radiation moves, it moves through air, and then obviously it has different applications that it is employed in I think in Namibia, mostly in the medical sector, mm-hmm. and also in industry. There are so many types of methodologies of how it can be employed. So it's basically energy that moves through air, mm-hmm. and that can be directed. And in the case of, I think, the most, like I said, medical sector, for instance, if you go to X-rays, mm-hmm. they make use of radiation, X-radiation, that travels through the body and forms an image at the other side of that, and that is used for diagnostic purposes. Mm-hmm. So, yes, there is the connotation, radiation and all that is bad right. and dangerous and all that. Mm-hmm. It just depends on the application.
Okay.
Now, moving to nuclear. Mm-hmm. Nuclear, we're talking about the nucleus.
Right.
For those that, the atom.
Mm-hmm. The atoms.
The atoms, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So in the atom, you have the nucleus, you have your protons and electrons. Mm-hmm. So the energy that the nucleus emits from its center is the energy that you want to use. And I think the one that is mostly known and is power, mm-hmm. nuclear power.
Right.
It's where the connotation comes, or a nuclear weapon.
Mm-hmm. Power, are we referring to electricity?
Yes.
Right.
You use the nucleus because of the power source that it is. Mm-hmm. You use that heat that it produces mm-hmm. to drive a turbine mm-hmm. that produces steam, and that steam you use to generate power.
Right.
So you have that opportunity to make use of it in that positive sense. to generate power, or you use it to cause destruction. And that is where the negative comes from, of having a nuclear bomb, having a nuclear countries with nuclear power that are using it, you know, in that negative sense. But that is not what this bill is all about.
Right. Thank you so much. We are quite at ease, and thank you so much, Mr. Ayman, for setting the tone for this discussion, for creating context for my viewers and listeners, because they now know what this discussion is around and about. Now, I'm sticking with you, Mr. Ayman. So, we now know what nuclear is, and we now know what radiation is. But as per my introductory remarks, we are talking about this bill, that the consultations to this bill, right? And now I would like to know from you, explain to us kindly what this proposed bill is and why it is of that great importance to Namibia as a nation.
Okay, thank you, Eleni. It is not, this bill is not as if we are starting from ground zero.
Right.
We currently have an act in place.
So we are not reinventing the
No,
wheel.
no, no.
Right.
We have an act of 2005. It's called the Atomic Energy and Radiation Protection Act that has been implemented since the early 2000s, after it was enacted. So this act basically that did two things. It only established a National Radiation Protection Authority, as you can see my branding over here,
Right.
the NRPA, and it establishes an Atomic Energy Board, which is an advisory body to minister and also to the NRPA. So there you have a group of experts from different industries that represent those industries and the interest of those industries to the regulator. Okay? So that is what we've been doing, but we've realized that there are gaps.
Right.
There are opportunities that we are missing out as a country to benefit from that can really change the game for us as a country. And especially when it comes to nuclear. So we have aspirations as a country for nuclear power. We are the third, you know, that number keeps changing, third and fourth producer of uranium in the world, which I think we should be very proud of. So we want to add benefit to that product. Currently, we are exporting it as it is being produced.
Right.
It is just taken in a drum out of the country. We believe that we can, as a nation, benefit much more from it.
Value addition.
Value addition,
Right.
exactly.
Okay.
So this act now, the bill that we are talking about here, this is the starting point of the public consultation process
Right.
today here. This is a land, we are putting a stake in the ground, and from here, we are, from today, inviting the public to become part of this advisory mission and rollout to get the inputs and their concerns so that we also address it in the bill.
Right.
So we will start from the end of July, end of June, for 3 weeks into July, where we will now go out to roll out to the different regions, and we will still publicize that, hopefully through your assistance also.
Absolutely.
And we were told that you can even help us when we are in the region to be able to do that, to have these live sessions, so that the public becomes part of it. And as part, not just about the bill, we also want to create awareness. That's why I want to, if you allow me, go into more details of the different aspects that the bill touches on and how it applies in Namibia.
Right. I think as we continue with the discussion, that will most definitely be accentuated. Now, thank you so much, Mr. Ayman. Indeed, naturally, when new legislation comes in place, it's obvious for the public out there, you know, to have questions and want clarity on certain aspects pertaining the bills. And we just really highly appreciate that you chose the GIC, which is the Government Information Center, as the landmark to start your sensitization of this very important bill. We truly are honored to have you this morning in studio. Now, Ms. Naimbale, I kept you quiet for a little while, but I'm back at you right now. I'd like to find out from you, Ms. Naimbale, I've just learned here from Mr. Ayman that we are not reinventing the wheel. We had something in place already, but now gaps were identified, and now this is where we come in to ensure that this proposed bill, is consulted and the nation knows about it. But briefly, talk to us why it is important if we already then have this legislation and regulating nuclear and radioactive materials. If so, why is there a need for a new bill?
Thank you, Helene, for the very good question. There's a need for a new bill because currently, as Mr. Ayman have said, the scope of the current act is limited, and the bill is expanding the legal and the regulatory framework of the nuclear and radiation activities in the country, and it also establishes the three key institutions. One is the Nuclear Commission of Namibia, and number two is the Nuclear Institute of Namibia. Number three is the Radiation and Nuclear Regulatory Authority of Namibia.
Right.
Currently, the current law only has established two institutions, which is the Nuclear Energy Board, which is an advisory body to the government when it comes to nuclear-related activities in the country.
Right.
And then the National Radiation Protection Authority, which is the regulatory body currently we have in the country. So the bill is mainly strengthening the scope to be comprehensive, to cover the nuclear safety aspect of it,
Right.
and then to cover the nuclear security aspect of it, to cover the safeguard aspect of it, and also the nuclear liability component, which was not part
Of it.
And this is one of the main key aspect also, which provides insurance, and we'll talk much about it when we do our consultations.
Right.
So it's mainly strengthening the
Already existing
existing structure.
Right.
Yes.
No, thank you so much, Ms. Naimbale. And indeed, I appreciate that of course, it was mentioned we are not reinventing the wheel, but we are also not stagnant to say that what it is that we have, it is what we are going to keep. We are advancing, and this is where I appreciate the business process re-engineering, where we now get to dwell much on the advancement of activities, processes, standard operating processes, and structures of institutions as such. And that we appreciate that gaps were identified, and now we need to fill them so that we can, have the best as a country. Now, back at you, Mr. Ayman. I would like to find out from you, of course, there is a purpose for these consultations. I'd like to find out from you, what is the main objective, right, that this proposed nuclear bill aims or envisions to actually get out of these consultations?
Oh, thank you very much, ma'am. Yeah, I think we have to start from the stakeholders that we want this, and let me just try to name them, because when we say public, according even to the current act, it means everyone.
Right.
When we say public, we're not speaking about specifically organizations, companies, or facilities that are regulated by the authority.
Right.
No. We are talking because it is such a broad footprint in the country.
Right.
The application of radiation and nuclear, that we are basically talking about law enforcement. We are talking about all the different ministries. We are talking about industry, where we speak about even the new oil and gas recent,
Right.
where they use a lot of radioactive material also. So it is so wide that, and this is the purpose of this session and the rollout of sensitization. We want to encourage people to come forward And if they are not able to maybe attend physically these sessions, we have taken the bill and we've placed it on the ministry's website.
Right.
It is on our own
Convenience. I love the
website.
convenience.
Exactly. So there will be provisions put in place where they can read through it. If there are not clarity that they seek, they are welcome to type on that platforms their questions. We know that it is not possible for everybody to come forward and be. We are also looking at doing radio so that we give that information
To
of
the
the
grassroots levels.
Exactly.
Right.
So that people feel free to comment and come forward with, even if it's a question, you don't necessarily have to comment on the bill.
Right.
But ask, I don't understand this and that. Put scenarios so that we are able to look at those, respond to them. Because we need all this as proof of the consultation process that we have undergone.
Yeah.
And that's so critical for us to capture all the type of feedbacks and comments so that at the end we will have a close-out report post all the consultations of all the regions that we need to say how were these issues addressed in the bill.
Okay.
So that is very critical.
All right. I actually appreciate that you are rolling this sensitization, this consultation to all 14 regions of this country. And the aim is really to cover everybody, that even from the grassroots level, you would like to sensitize, you would like for them to understand what it is that this bill entails, and you would like to have their contributions. Perhaps one of your meaningful contributions that would help craft this bill into a very strong one will come from the grassroots.
Exactly.
Indeed. Now, thank you so much. We appreciate that you are consulting, because quite often, we have a problem of consulting. And the nation feels that sometimes they are not well consulted, especially when the consultations are centered in Windhoek, for example, and not rolled out to the rest of the regions. Thank you so much, Mr. Amon. Now, Ms. Naimbale, I'm back at you. From the legal and governance perspective, right, why is public participation important? And especially when developing this legislation, such as this nuclear bill?
Thank you very much. The public participation is important because, number one, is for transparency. We have to promote transparency, and coming up with a law or a legislation. The law is for the people, and it's regulating the people who are involved. And remember, this bill is introducing new, I would call it them like entities. The Nuclear Commission of
that were
Namibia.
not part previously.
Yes, they were not part, and they have various responsibilities. So it's also for the public to know which one will be responsible for what. They can give their inputs, they can get the information, and it's kind of like information sharing and giving each other inputs, because the public might also have experience that we don't know who are living in the urban areas, especially in the community. In the rural areas. This bill is now, like for Namibia Commission of Namibia, will be an policy oversight, coordination and governance body. And then the Nuclear Institute of Namibia will be for promotion and research and development for peaceful use of nuclear energy. And these are the activities like, for instance, nuclear medicine, in the hospitals, agriculture, mining industry, they are falling under that body. And then we have our regulatory authority that will be responsible for regulating the activities that are being conducted by various entities, be it the Ministry of Health when it comes to nuclear medicine,
or Ministry of Energy,
Ministry of Energy, or Ministry of Agriculture. So it's for the public also to understand who will be responsible for what. And because the regulatory authority will be licensing these entities or applicants, those who would want to engage in nuclear activities. So during the process of licensing, public is also needed to give their input. So it's very much important also to bring them on board so that they will be able to
You
understand
yes.
what is going to take place before the activities starts.
Right.
Yes. So
And of
that
course,
is-
air their contributions, right?
Yes.
I appreciate that you are cognizant of the fact that meaningful participation often requires broad representation, especially on grassroots level. I'm constantly going to emphasize there because in most cases they are actually left out. We concentrate here centrally and leave them out. But I appreciate that the ministry and the stakeholders involved have taken this a leap of faith to actually extend it to the other regions. Now, I'm sticking with you, Ms. Naimbale. We know that there is a consultation is going to take place. But now, to my viewers and listeners who are tuned in right now, and they are probably wondering, who is expected to participate in these consultations that we are talking about?
Okay. Thank you very much. Participation, anyone is welcome, from individuals to the entities to, for instance, we have our people in the community areas, rural areas, they are welcome to come and participate. And law enforcement agency, anyone is welcome. Be it civil societies, they also need to provide their inputs. The environment organization, anyone is welcome because this one affects anyone.
All right.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Mr. Ayman, would you like to expound more on that, or is everything covered very well?
No. I think what Hilma is saying is critical because you say, I'm just looking at practical examples, for instance, where if you're thinking about keeping it in the capital in Windhoek and in the more urban towns and so forth. For instance, road construction, they use a lot of nuclear cages in their process. So if anything happens with these cages, and we have had incidents where there is theft of these cages, we are relying as a regulator on members of the public to be able to identify this material and to inform police and law enforcement agencies, or to report it anywhere to say, but this is something that is not, it's a radioactive or nuclear material.
Right.
So this does not belong in the community or in, it needs to be regulated, it needs to be stored, it needs to be handled by professionals and people that are knowledgeable. So those are the kind of things, and this is why, like Hilma said, it's open to everyone. We want everyone to come. We want everyone to comment. We are also even hoping that there will be some information that comes out that alerts us to material that are somewhere.
Right.
That you take your phone, everybody's carrying a phone these days.
Yes,
smartphones. Take a photo, send it, put it on this consultation group on our website and say, what is this? Is this not something that, radiation or nuclear material? Is this a danger to me? And those are the type of reaction that we also want to draw out. We are just not on the bill and its consultation, but we want to make use of this opportunity also as awareness creation.
Right.
And that's why I started by saying I hope we are invited back because we want to go into specific topics.
Right.
Mining sector, medical sector, the use of resources in nuclear, agriculture, in energy, all of those.
Right.
And especially the part where there is the nuclear promotional. Those are the things that we want to venture into to create that awareness for people to come up with ideas, because nuclear technology has moved so far. And I think this is why we saw the need for this revision or this new bill, so that it covers the scope more widely and we can become part of it. Because there's an opportunity. We have been approached by people that are using different technologies for energy and power generation. And they've chosen Namibia as a country to launch this from. And those are the things that we want to come out, that we say that let us look at these opportunities we can be the first and the lead in the world.
Absolutely.
We're not talking about the region or any of that. We are talking of the world,
The world.
and be a game changer in the region for power generation for the whole SADC.
Right.
Imagine that. It's for me bigger than, because there is nothing that compares to nuclear when it comes to energy,
Right.
power, nothing. I don't care wind and solar and all of that. Nuclear is number one.
Right.
And how it has moved from the old reactors which had accidents in the past, Nagasaki, in Japan, all those accidents, those years are gone. They are no
Right.
more using that technology. So we are being approached for this kind of thing. We have been chosen. And people say, because of your environment, your ocean, your desert, your people that are vast and far from each other, which means you can establish something that is safe and secure
Right.
and out of reach for
Right.
any interference from public concern groups and so on. Because ultimately, our goal is our people.
Right.
You cannot
The
have a
safety
resource, yes, you cannot have a resource that you are not fully employing and your people are not benefiting from it.
Right.
That is no more the case. So we want this kind of things to also be considered when we are doing this consultation, and so that we start the discussion. How can we benefit more from our rich deposits of especially uranium? That they are still being discovered daily. We also don't still know where they are.
Right.
They are, look like they are all over. We have
Right.
been saying Irongo, but now there are indications that it might even be very much wider.
Right.
So let's just be ready.
We are
This
sitting
is
on
what
a
this,
mine.
exactly. But we have not tapped into that.
Right.
We are focusing on certain things that seem to be now, popular. No, it's time for us to move to where uncharted territory.
Untapped. Right. All right. No, I appreciate that we are advancing as a nation, and I appreciate that really so much is being done to discover this. But what I appreciate most is the safety concerns thereby that the ministry and that this council knows that very well, the safety of the human beings and just the natural habitat is number one. We truly highly appreciate that. But now, Namibia, if you are just tuned in, you are tuned into an information sharing session coming to you live from the Government Information Center studio. And this time around is under the flagship of the offices, ministries, and agencies. And for this episode, I am your host. My name is Hileni Felepe-Samunyela, and I'm joined in the studio by a team of well-versed experts from the Ministry of Health as well as the Office of the Attorney General, and they are here to help us unpack the topic for this morning, which is public consultation on the nuclear bill that is kicking off today, actually, as was earlier mentioned here by Mr. Ayman. Now, you too can be part of this discussion by following this conversation on our social media platforms. On Facebook, we are live at the Government Information Center, Namibia, and that too is at the YouTube channel handle for our YouTube channel. I urge you to be part of this discussion. And as we continue with our conversation in the studio, Mr. Let me post this to Ms. Naimbale. I'd like to shift focus now to feedback, right? We mentioned that we are rolling out these consultations, and we've now indicated the stakeholders that we wish to meet at these town halls when these consultations kick off. But now I want to shift the focus a little bit to the feedback that you would like to get from these stakeholders that you're going to meet. What is the feedback, the number one feedback that even though maybe one of my viewers and listeners are experts in this industry and they would want to meet you on their ground, they would be able to prep themselves and bring the necessary, prepare themselves necessary or accordingly for this consultation. So what is the feedback that the ministry is looking for through these consultations?
Feedback. We don't really have specific feedback to expect from the stakeholders. But we look forward, especially we said we have a new component, which is nuclear liability. We expect views also from them to tell us, because we need to we also need to tailor makes that
Yes.
component to our need. Although there's an international regime on it, we also need to look at our current needs and how we are going to expand on that. So any feedback is expected. We don't really have specific feedback, but they are welcome to comment and to give us. So we don't really have specific feedback.
Okay.
But the nuclear liability is one of the components that we really need inputs. And if there is one who need guidance on how they can go about it, they can reach out to us and have more discussion about it. And yeah.
All right.
Yes.
So apart from the nuclear liability component, the floor is open for suggestions, recommendations, and everything else.
Yes.
All right. Mr. Ayman, briefly, you would like to make to expound more on what Ms. Naimbales mentioned?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
I think as we started off saying that there are three components to this new bill. And we have oversight, which is the commission,
Right.
the Nuclear Commission of Namibia that the bill establishes. So that is coordination and policy oversight and governance, right? Then we have the promotional aspect, which is called the Nuclear Institute of Namibia. And this is where we've just spoken about earlier, where we're looking into how can we benefit more from what nuclear can do for the country. The opportunities that are hidden in our natural resources, like the uranium and radium and depleted uranium. Those are things that technology is now coming forward and saying they can be used for other purposes. And we can be in the forefront of that. Then thirdly, you mentioned most important, safety.
Right.
And that's the third component. The regulator, which will be called that, because the name changes now. Unfortunately, my this shirt will be absolute now.
Okay.
But I hope I can still. It will be called the Radiation and Nuclear Regulatory Authority. And this authority now will be expanded. It will have a broader scope because before we didn't have the nuclear aspect. And it will also allow us now to build the local capacity.
Right.
So that we are able to respond to that. Another component that we have not mentioned earlier is the fact that the regulator is responsible for ionizing as well as non-ionizing radiation.
Okay. What are we talking about? Ionizing and non-ionizing?
Yes. Now let me come again with my layman's definition.
Yes, please.
So ionizing radiation is the ones that we mostly used and that we're knowledgeable about, going for an X-ray, going for treatment at hospital and all that. So this is a radiation with an energy level where they can cause ionization in a cell in the body.
Okay.
So once you are taking an X-ray or you're bombarded with that kind of level of energy,
yes.
it causes ionization, and that ionization causes the emission of an electron from the nucleus, and that electron is then captured, and you can produce an image from that.
Oh,
That's ionizing.
Okay.
Now, when we come to the other part that we're also responsible for, which is non-ionizing radiation, I think the most common is the cell phone,
Right.
the mobile stations, and then also in the medical sector, we're talking about,
Excellent.
not
Not
X-rays,
X-rays.
sonar,
Oh, sonar.
MRI scans, because that is magnetic, and that is not using ionizing radiation, but non-ionizing.
Okay, so there is a energy different between
Ionizing.
X-ray and
Sonar.
Yes, X-ray and sonar.
X-ray and sonar. So X-rays is the ionizing one.
Right.
It's have high enough energy to cause the cell to become disturbed.
Right.
But non-ionizing, which is the cell phone tower, and which is the MRI, which is sonar, which is Wi-Fi, that we all have now.
Right.
Everybody wants, is the Wi-Fi? Give me the code.
Yes, absolutely.
So we need to be aware of that also.
Okay.
So that is also our duty. We regulate that part to make sure that. But I want to come back to the fact that
Yes, please.
as Namibia, we are a member state of the International Atomic Energy Agency.
Right.
And all this act and all in the previous act was strictly in line with that guidance given by the IAEA. So as a member state, We have been consulting. Hilma here has attended several training courses where she was trained specifically what needs to be in these acts and regulations that we are developing.
Right.
So she has been a long-time partner with us from the ministry side as well as for us as the regulator, as the Atomic Energy and Radiation Protection Directorate in the ministry. So this then brings that this act, and that's why we don't expect a lot of comments to come from outside,
Right.
because we are following strictly international guidance. So we have just, what is the word, formed it so that it applies to our Namibian.
Right. Contextualized.
That is the words. Those are for TV people. For us, we want it to be relevant
Right.
for our situation and for our people. And that is the most important aspect that we want to bring home.
Right. Now, we are close. We've run out of time. We are about to round up this discussion. But Ms. Naimbale, you had something that you needed to expound more on that, briefly?
Yes. Just also maybe to add something that is also not introduced, not even under the auspices of the IEA. This bill is also regulating natural occurring radioactive material or radiation.
Okay.
And this is one of the components that we also need people to understand. And this natural radioactive material, they are found on the ground and also in the cosmic area. And those are some of the, especially cosmic is not regulated. And this bill is addressing that component also.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much for pointing that out specifically. Now, before we round off this discussion this morning, I'd like to find out from you. Quite often there are a lot of misconceptions on the technical and the legal part of the bills. If you can please briefly let us in on what are some of the misconceptions that you've encountered in your, rightful positions or as experts in this field. What are some of the misconceptions that you have encountered regarding this nuclear and
Radiation.
Yes, radiation.
Yeah, I think the biggest is, like one of your questions started off, it's dangerous. And that's precisely the reason why you have a regulator in place.
Right.
To remove that danger. The radioactive and nuclear material needs to be handled and controlled and applied by trained professionals.
Right.
That's number one. Those trained professionals that are using the radioactive material, they need to be licensed.
Right.
They need to show that they have the competence to handle it, that they have gone through the appropriate training. They need to use it in approved facilities.
Right.
That includes structure, the building itself. That includes equipment. That includes handling, movement. It includes all the aspects that are associated, because it differs. Sometimes it's used locally, it is installed, it is a piece of equipment that is placed somewhere, but on other times it is a mobile device that can be moved around.
Right.
So then conditions and requirements change when those aspects come into play. So we are very critical on that, and that's where the safety part comes in. And that's why anybody found in our bill, and we have had legal enforcement action taken on institutions, companies that have either brought this material illegally into the country, come here from other countries in the region to do work here, and pretend that they are here on tourist and so on. So we work very closely with law enforcement.
Right.
And we have had successfully prosecuted cases where such incidents have taken place,
Right.
whether by local companies or from international companies. So I think the fact that, yes, it is dangerous and therefore there must be oversight.
Right.
That is number one. Number two is, when you come across this type of material, report.
Right.
If you are uncertain about it, you are not sure about it,
Consult.
report.
Right.
Report. Let us come. And another aspect that Hilma also touched on, which I just want to emphasize, for instance, emergency preparedness and response. We have South Africa, our neighbor, who has nuclear power, and their waste depository where they store waste, spent waste from the power plant, is here in the Northern Cape, very close to Namibia. So we have been invited. We are working with the South African regulator. We have attended their emergency drill and preparedness. And as recent of last week, we had an emergency drill that was conducted by Langerheinrich Mine in the Irongo region, where we also attended, and many stakeholders. So I want to, with this to say that the capacity and competence is in Namibia.
It is here.
We have trained people.
Skills
It's not
impartation.
something that we see for the first time and we are running off into not knowing what to do. We have been training people for over 30 years.
Right.
The capacity is here. Yes, they are not centered in one place, but they are there in industry and they always are reporting back to us.
Right, absolutely.
So that I want to leave it with the members to say that feel free. If you report to us, we know how to handle it.
Right.
We know how to attend to it, and you are safe.
Right.
Yes.
I love the confidence in your team that we have the right skills and equipment here. We shouldn't fear anything pertaining to safety and all
Never
that.
fear.
Right. Briefly, Ms. Naimbale, what is the misconception that you usually or that you have encountered?
Okay, maybe it's just to say, when we talk about nuclear, many people refer to nuclear weapons, but we are not here for nuclear weapons.
Right.
The bill is not to create nuclear program. It's here to protect the people and the environment from the harmful effect of
sensitize them.
radiation,
Right.
and to sensitize them, and to
Right.
simply also make to raise awareness on the peaceful use of nuclear technology.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you so much. We've come to the end of our discussion, but I would not do justice if I don't give you this last, chance to. What is your message to the Namibian nation pertaining this nuclear?
Thank you very much. I will read mine, if you allow me.
Okay.
I've worked a lot on it, and it's taken me some time.
All right.
This draft bill is a modern framework.
Okay.
That's why we were saying the old one is not out of place. It has been effective to us. But this one is modernized framework designed to protect people and the environment, to strengthen regulation, support Namibia's uranium and health sectors, enhance national security, and promote the peaceful use of nuclear science and technology for national development.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Short and sweet and concise. Thank you so much, Mr. Ayman. Ms. Naimbale, you have the last word for the day.
Oh, thank you. What I'll say is we need to support our bill because for the development for our nuclear energy sector to develop and to move ahead, this is the bill that can unpack everything. So let's support it from our parliamentarians, our all stakeholders. Let's support this bill. This is the bill that is holding our development. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Ayman, Ms. Naimbale, thank you so much for making time from your busy schedules this morning to come and educate us. You've schooled me so much about radiation and nuclear. I now have a different perception of what it really is, and I understand. And I'm sure I'm speaking on behalf of my viewers and listeners that were tuned into this session as well. Indeed, public participation remains a cornerstone for democratic governance, and this consultations provides every Namibian with the chance or an opportunity to contribute to the legal or legislation that will help shape this country's future in a regulatory landscape. We appreciate you so much and continue doing what you are doing, and we wish you all the best for your future endeavors that are yet to come as far as rolling out these consultations to the 14 regions is concerned. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
All right. All right. Namibia, we've come to the end of this session's discussion. And please don't go away. We are unpacking another fruitful discussion shortly. Stay with me. I'll be shortly back.